when you look at the title you think, oh no, here she goes again with the reverse painting. But I was thinking the other day, I really love doing this. This is one of my favourite things to do. And I was thinking, well, is there something out there where I can get the same high colour result without messing about with the UV resin and the mica and all the curing and everything? So I set out on a mission thinking, what can I do? So I went to ye old Amazon site and had a trawl around and found various things that you could do, and I found these acrylic paints. They say that you can paint on plastic, on stones, you know, the rock painting. They're waterproof, and I thought, okay, maybe give those a go. And several reasons why I chose these particular acrylic paint pens was because they have 36 markers in there, and the colours looked very varied and very bright. So that's why I picked this particular brand. With my own money, no affiliation with them whatsoever. So this is completely my own idea and my own verdict of what I think of them. The other reason that I bought them was because they are dual tipped. They have a brush end. It kind of looks like a brush end, but it's still like a felt tip, and it's very soft. And then they have a pen end that you can write with. So I thought I'd give these a try. And I picked this owl tattoo because I thought I would like something where I can use a lot of colours. And when I was testing the colours out on the paper is fibrous, so the colours were sinking into the paper, and I thought, how will that respond to something where it can't soak in, like the tattoo? And that was another reason I wanted to give this a try. This is a whole kind of experiment thing. So yes, experiment time, and I love to play. So I tested out a few of the colours that I thought I might use, and they were all so nice. It was difficult to choose just a few. I used the paintbrush end, and the reason I did that was because when you put these tattoos on, they are very delicate. And I didn't want to use the pen end because it's a little bit harder. Not as hard as a Sharpie, but still, you know, a felt pen, it's harder. Whereas the paintbrush end is a little bit more flexible, it's softer. And when you see me using them, you'll see I don't actually sort of drag the pen over. I sort of do a dabbing motion because I wasn't quite sure how these would work. Also, I was thinking, if the colours do stay true and they do stay this bright when I actually put them on the tattoo, when I put the resin on them, will when the resin cures and it heats up as part of the process, will the heat leach the colours from the pens? That was the other thing I was curious about. So I chose all my colours, and I used quite a few. As I said, that was my intention to do so. And I'm using one of my favourite moulds. I like the size of this tray. The size and shape of this tray, it's just about the right size for everything. Plus it makes a nice little trinket tray. Now here's what I was talking about. Using the paintbrush end, which is what I use the most. I do use the pen end a little bit, but the paintbrush end is what I really went for. And just sort of dabbing it on. And I was thinking to myself when I was putting this colour down, if this colour stays true, once it's gone through the process of, you know, the resin heating as it cures, then this should be pretty nice. I had a spot on this eye where it was just pure silicone. For some reason there was no tattoo there, and you can see on that eye there's a little space. All I did was kept going back to that with the yellow every now and again. I thought this colour might not take because, again, I think there's just a piece of bare silicone in there because the tattoo doesn't adhere to that. But look at that. I could tell when I was doing it that there was bare silicone under there because it was going off to the sides, but it covered that very well. So I was pretty impressed with that too, because silicone repels most things, and these are water-based acrylic pens. So I think it did a very good job of staying put eventually on that piece of yellow that's missing from that eye. And as you can imagine, doing this with all the colours on the owl, it's a pretty lengthy process. So it starts off more or less in real time, but don't despair. I won't torture you with every brush stroke. It does speed up. This pen was curious. The paint brush end came out darker, and then the pen tip end came out a different colour. That's good, 2 colours in one pen, I'll take it. With some of the colours, like this, I did fill in the basics, and then by the time I got to the other side, the first bit was dry, So in several of the colours, I do go back over them. Yeah, I was so pleased in a way that I did choose this owl. I didn't really put any thought into it. I just thought, well, I've done flowers and I've done a tiger. What else can I do? And as I was looking through my choices, you know, going through the tattoos, I came across this and I thought, yeah, it'll definitely be good because I can use so many colours on it. So as the process goes on and the paint colours build up, it looks a bit of a mess by the time I'm sort of finished. I think to myself, what's it going to look like on the front? And I tried to keep, you know, in the lines, and the point of the paintbrush end is very nice for doing, you know, for going into very delicate areas and making a nice line. And where I did do a whoopsie, slightly out of the line, I just got a micro brush and kind of licked the end and took it off, took back to where I wanted to go. Very easy, bearing in mind of course that these tattoos are very fragile and I didn't want to scrape that off. So if you're going to do that, bear in mind, be careful, go gently. So on that owl's eye, you can still see, there I go, the little bit that wouldn't fill in. And I went back and it did. It did fill in. So yeah, I was impressed. I would also say that these pens are what I call juicy. You don't have to press down on them to activate them like you do with the gold leafing pens. You just start. I didn't even shake them, so you know, and I got good coverage, good even coverage as well. And this is the first time I have used acrylic pens. And I seem to have bought a set that are, you know, very usable, work very well. I've only ever used acrylic paints, you know, in either their tube form or in the little pots that you get from the craft stores. I've never used acrylic pens. It was a pleasant experience. Great experiment the first time. I also love that blue. That blue had a slight metallic sheen to it as well. It was very bright. I was having a good time because it was nice to do this reverse colouring technique and get some nice results, you know, without getting out the UV and the lamp and all the mica and putting up with the smell of the UV resin curing, because it does, once you put it under the lamp, it does give off a little bit of smoke depending on how much you use, but it definitely has an odour. And then, you know, if you use very dark colours, it's best to do it in layers because it doesn't dark colours don't like curing because the UV light can't penetrate. And this is particularly true of black or colours like deep burgundy or deep purple. So you have to do those in maybe 2 or 3 layers. Yeah, it's a bit tedious. You get good results, but you know, if you want to make a lot of things, it sort of slows you down a lot. And that's why I thought, you know, can I do this particular technique without all that paraphernalia? And I guess we'll find out. Yeah, this took me quite a while, but I was in the zone, so I didn't really care. And of course it goes faster for you guys because the power of editing. When I was colouring this in the back of my mind, I was giving thought to, okay, so I've got all these lovely colours. Hopefully they will stay as vibrant as they are here. And when I put the resin on, what colour should I use? I decided whilst I was using the white, why not do white? And I could have left this blank and just let the resin fill in, but I thought, well, since there's a white marker in here, I don't know how common that is for people to actually put white markers in, but I thought, well, let's give it a go. I did my initial coverage with the white marker, and I looked at it and I thought, yeah, maybe I ought to go back over that again, because I say I wanted to get really nice coverage. So I went back in over the white, and that was just basically to give it a good strong colour. And I was just curious to see what that white would come out like. But when you look at the back of this, all the colouring and everything, it looks kind of a mess. So I'm thinking, I don't know, we'll see. But as far as the colours go, I was very happy with the colours. My colouring skills, maybe not so much. But you do get nice control with that. You can see the point of the paintbrush. It is nicely pointed and you can get in tiny spaces. So, yeah. On the final home run now. Mr. Owl is looking very colourful. I don't know how many colours I used in all, but yeah, I used a fair amount. I also picked up some colours that weren't in my pile. I sort of added to them. So the colours that you saw me using, putting on the paper, I picked up maybe 3 or 4 other colours off screen. So it was definitely a good range of colours. And all of them were very distinct in their tone. Back with the yellow, and that was a very vibrant yellow, and this was the silvery one. I know it looks sort of grey, but that's a silver metallic one. Mixing up the resin. Cream white, yeah, I like this colour. I'm getting a bit low, I have to get more. But I do like this cream white. It's not just a flat white, it's got, I don't know, being cream white, it just looks nicer. So I decided to go with this. All the usual. Bearing in mind, of course, that you have got a tattoo in there. You can do all your usual going around the edge with your silicone tool. Giving it a blast with the heat gun. Just be ever mindful. Don't go over the top. You can see I'm just sticking to the edges for the bubbles. Bane of my life. There's a little bit of something in there. Not a cat hair this time. It's usually a cat hair. Probably glitter. Yeah. Until tomorrow, when we'll all find out whether this works or not. I thought you would appreciate a quick look there of the vibrant colours. This was exciting. I thought, yeah, now we will see. We'll get to see this together. And you can see what I mean about that creamy white. It's not flat. It's got some life in it because it has sort of swirlies in it that I had no making of those. That's just the way it cures. But it's a little bit nicer than just white. Trying to do it slowly and hide it from you guys. It's kind of difficult because my hands are stiff and they have arthritis, and some of these molds, they really are, you know, they really suction on. There you get a sneak peek. Trying not to touch the tattoo because it's still sticky. And you ready? Look at that. I was almost speechless when I saw that. The colours are, I think I would even be brave enough to say they're more vibrant even than the UV resin and mica technique. I was stunned, but just acrylic pens, and they didn't fade with the heating up of the resin as it cured. Yeah. And because that tattoo, it's still slightly sticky, to protect it, I put a thin coat of plain resin. But yeah, those colours are just amazing. I was very pleased, and very pleased that I chose the owl, because I could show you so many colours. So even if you're not going to be using these acrylic markers to do what I do, I think if you're going to use them, for example, on rocks, I think you're going to be pleased with the results. They are true to colour, and I loved them. They got double thumbs up from me. I'll just give it a quick blast with the old heat gun, and a very satisfied resin maker. I hope you enjoyed that. It was fun to do, and I got the reveal the same time you did, and I was stunned by the results. The colours, just unbelievable. So there is another technique for reverse colouring. And the yellow on the eye that was missing, it did fill in, and it filled in very well. No voids. Fantastic.